to NPL 2 Eastern Conference action. Melbourne City versus Langwarrin, already in progress here from the Veneto Club. My name is Joey Lynch, and thank you for
Test, 1, 2.
Corner about to come in. Headed clear by the Langwarrin. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. And we're having a few audio difficulties, so if you'll indulge me, I'll just start the intro all over again to make sure you got it. Welcome to NPL 2 Eastern Conference action here from the Veneto Club. Already in progress is a meeting between two sides that find themselves on opposite sides of the table heading into this one. Bottom placed Melbourne City are not a position that they've been used to in their recent history in the NPL Victoria, coming into the rounds 17, third placed Langwarrin SC. My name is Joey Lynch and I'm joined here by Josh Parrish. Josh, thank you for joining me today. What do you think we'll see in this one?
Great to be with you, Joey. We do apologise for those false starts with the audio, but we're in business now. Let us know in the Facebook Live comments if there's any issues. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this contest, Joey, because it's a bit of a new look. Langwarrin, after the mid-season transfer window, made a few important changes. And, you know, with the Scott Miller coach side, they're always going to have a go. Not going to just sit back against the City side. Fantastic contest when they faced each other. I think it was in round 2.
Round 1.
Round 1, in fact, of the NPL 2 season. I was there, you were there, Joey, and it was a 3-2 thriller. Langwarrin coming back from 2 goals down. Rami Nadjarine scoring the winner with virtually the last kick of the game. If we can get something similar here at the Veneto Club, then I think everyone will be delighted watching at home. Absolutely.
Well, we'll take you through the teams now as both sides go through the process of just feeling each other out and trying to get something going, as Mitch Graham, who starts at centre-back, plays it down to Lucente. So starting for Melbourne City in goal, number 1, Ahmed Talib, and then in front of him, number 2, Mitchell Graham. And the centre-back, number 7, 27, Dalibor Markovic. Number 5, Mark Karlich. And number 33, Daniel Lucente. In the midfield, Josh Varga, Idris Abdullahi, Emil Payos, and Moody Najjar, Giovanni Stellatano, and Stefan Kolakowski round out the side. For the visitors, in goal, number 1, Fraser McLaren. Number 3, Jamie Cumming. Number 4, Luke Burgess. Number 5, Thomas Ahmedzai. Number 6, Brandon Jans. Number 9, Max Etheridge. Number 12, Jade Manaferi. Number 15, Jordan Templin. Number 16, the former City boy, the new arrival at Langwarrin, Lucas Portelli. As City break down the right, getting the ball to Lucente. Abdullahi back to Lucente, but it's a good sliding challenge that comes in. And it will be a corner for the visitors. Number 17, which follows, number 17, Demir Stojlovic, and number 35, David Sturton, rounds the two sides out. As early corner, Josh, chance for City to get something going early.
Excellent covering challenge from this former City boy, Lucas Portelli, going in hard on his former teammate there. Of course, was facing Langwarrin in round 1. Now he's on the other side of the team sheet.
Ball gets swung into the middle, City getting players around the 6-yard box, but the corner to the near post is cleared, and then it's further headed away by Stojlovic. Strong challenge from Dalibor Markovic. Turns inside, played across the area by Stellatano. Maybe a cross-come shot, Josh, but just in the end couldn't get anything going. But that's an early warning sign for Langwarrin. They opened up in the face of the City attack.
City coming into this off 7 straight defeats. This is a strong start by them. A lot of intensity to the game. Very pacey beginning, and I think they can give Langwarrin a run for their money here. I'm interested to see Portelli's position in the side. Seems to be playing in a holding midfield role rather than his usual centre-back, as he was most often for Melbourne City youth.
Long clearance comes out in the direction of Max Etheridge, one of the new signings for Langwarrin in the most recent transfer, formerly of Kingston City. Big target man up front. Last week was his debut for Langwarrin, playing that target man role, held the ball up so well. in front of the Langwarrin, in front of a man, number 15, Jordan Templin. Bit of a homecoming for Jordan Templin, a former Bulleen player back in the days. He has a long shot here, just wide of the post.
Jordan Templin is a player in unbelievable goal-scoring form. He's been shouldering the attacking burden for Langwarrin all season long. Scored a couple of spectacular goals in a match I was calling, I think it was Northcote City. But yeah, homecoming for him, his former stomping ground, the Veneto club, will know this synthetic surface very well. And he's playing that number 10 role just in behind David Sturton and the new boy, Max Etheridge. Some big calls made by Scott Miller in the transfer window. Had to let Johnny Cool go, as well as Rodrigo Covarrubias on the player point system.
As Jans moves into the position on the left, goes to work against Lucente. The young right back does well, though, to turn the ball away, but not put the ball away for a corner. City staff sitting around us here in the grandstand, loving the youngster getting stuck in. He is a very diminutive defender when you get in person. As the ball is swung in and Langy looked to just turn it in the near post, but they do have another corner. Yes, Lucente, one of the youngest members of this City lineup, born in 2003. He
Makes you feel old, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's even smaller when you actually stand next to him. Another chance for Langy to get something. Sturton will put the ball in on his left foot. Clears everyone, however. And now City have a chance to break. Get the ball to Stellitano. But will be a Langwarrin throw in. And Josh, you would think those set-piece opportunities with these big bodies of Langwarrin fielding the man who used to be City's tallest player in the weeks ahead, that would be an area that they could exploit, these long crosses and balls into the penalty area as the game goes on.
They are a physical side, Langwarrin, especially with the height, weight and age advantage over these City young boys. Interested to see new signing Brandon Yanch in this left wing-back role. Stojlovic moving to the right.
Mataferri nipped in there to cut out the pass from Abdullahi, intended for Kolakowski, but then again, turnabout is fair play, and now City intercept and have a chance to move forward. And this time the ball will be played in the direction of Kolakowski, but it's too heavy, and the goalkeeper, Fraser McLaren, veteran of the NPL Victoria scene, Fraser McLaren, makes the collection. And now Langwarrin, coached by former A-League coach Scott Miller, will try to get something going. Bit of miscommunication there from the City defence, and they'll play the ball back to not young Socceroos, he's even younger than that, Joey's goalkeeper, Ahmed Taleb. One of a number of Joeys in this side has now put it on the ball, and he'll play the ball forward looking for Sturton. The pass is just heavy from the Huddersfield-born, I guess we can call him a number 6 now. He's not playing centre-back, the Huddersfield-born number 6, and it will be a goal kick to Melbourne City.
Sturton's movement is something to watch out for. He's a very wily player. Number 35 for Langwarrin. Always likes to try and catch defenders on the blind side.
As Portelli comes through strong, moves onto the ball, working against Abdullahi. He'll just play it out there on the right side of the pitch. Ball is played back into the middle. Clever little back heel trying to play through. Attackers there from Templin, but just nothing on it. Now City once again, they're in danger here of getting boxed in. They do like to try to play the ball out, but you can see that this press of Langwarrin, they're getting bodies around the penalty area. They're not going to let this young side get comfortable on the ball and play it out.
This is a specific game plan from Scott Miller. He would have watched how City played the first time and in their other games. Langwarrin don't always press this high.
See their City trying to get the ball through. That's played across, and now there is space to work in. Lucente, he's got Varga in support, uses him, but Varga just loses the ball. Can't control it, and Jans gets into possession now. Plays it through to Sturton. Over Mitch Graham, the young captain. He does well to hold him up, and Langwarrin will be forced to reset. Stellitano applying the pressure. Jamie Cumming on the ball. He'll just chip it forward to Sturton. Sturton does well to flick it onwards past Lucente. Abdullahi in support. Abdullahi does well. That's shirt pulling, and that will be a free kick from Langwarrin. Langwarrin, as you said, Josh, a very physical side. They've received almost 40 yellow cards at this already in the season. As another turnover now, that's poor. Ball was played in the middle looking for Etheridge, but Graham had to be aware of it and played it out. But this is very nervous signs from City early, especially out there on that attacking left flank for City. They've turned it over a number of times, Josh.
Something's got to give here, Joey. Langwarrin pressing high, City trying to play through them. There'll be space for either side if they can. City can play through these tightly closed ranks of Langwarrin. They will have space in behind to attack. Equally, the counter-attack from Langwarrin is going to be very dangerous to defend.
Now, big body of Etheridge. He comes back to collect it, plays it out there to the right flank. Oh, just look at Etheridge go, throwing his weight around. He knows that he's playing against an academy side, doesn't he, Josh?
I think he always plays like that, Joe.
Wow.
You love a big English number 9, don't you?
Oh, I love it, mate. Not enough of them. Just wish his name started with B so I could call him Big Bad Bustling. As now City once again knocking the ball around. Abdullahi just dropping into that hole to provide another option. Abdullahi is told to turn, which he does so. Jantz provides the pressure. Well worked by City. They've worked it to Lucente in space on the right. He's got Stellatano in front of him. Goes into the middle to Abdullahi instead. Abdullahi, though, he was playing the ball for a Varga run that never came. And the ball will be collected now by Langwarrin. Chance to move it up the left flank. Played to Sturton. Sturton beats Graham. Switch of play now. Ball on the right side, on the right flank. Stojlovic does well to combine with Sturton. Sturton plays the ball in looking for Etheridge. Clears him, but it's come out there on the back post. But City clear the danger. That was, yet again, just nervy signs from this young defence. Langy are pushing men forward. They're pushing attacks forward. They want that early goal to put their foot on the throats of City.
Really good opportunity for Yanch, but just had too many bodies in front of him to get the shot away.
I'm going to take that as a subtle sign. It's not Jantz, it's Yanch, so I'll go with that pronunciation from now on.
I know just as well as you.
Acknowledge my mistakes.
I'm taking a stab at it in the dark too, Joey, if I'm honest.
Regardless of what his name is now, he's in defence as City come forward. Lucente and Stellatano out there on the right flank. Pressure comes in from Portelli, who started very energetically against his former side. Payos. Varga now. The miscommunication there between him and Kolakowski, and another chance for Langwarrin to come forward. Sturton. Bundled over by Karlich. Referee waves play on. And now Kolakowski. He loves to work into space, and he's got the chance to run. Similar to how he set up the goal against Victory last week. Plays it in on the outside of his boot, and it's, in the end, an easy collection by McLaren. Had Stellatano and the jar arriving, opted to go himself, Josh. Right call?
Well, I am never opposed to a player taking a shot. You know, unless there's an open man for a tap-in. Test the goalkeeper is what I say, and you know, it was rather comfortable in the end for McLaren, but I think he was entitled to shoot from that position. I'm not sure about the outside of the foot, though. You need to keep that low if you want to beat the keeper.
Yeah, Langwarrin again trying to get up this right flank. Templin on the left. Played into the near post, but it's wedged clear. But Langwarrin making all of this early running here, Josh. They're trying to get in behind this City defence up the flanks.
I think Scott Miller will be delighted by the start so far.
Another throw in on the right flank. Played into the middle to Etheridge. Defenders swarm, and Etheridge wins a corner. Another chance for the tall timber to get forward.
Let's not forget Langwarrin are without the Goulding brothers, which is really a big blow for them. Two of their most outstanding performers all season.
Luke Goulding in particular was magnificent against Brunswick last week, was all over the park.
He's been awarded man of the match on the Langwarrin Facebook page so many times this season, I've lost count.
Perhaps one of the reasons we're seeing the positional switch around the reshuffling on those flanks for Langwarrin.
Usually plays in those holding midfield roles, the Goulding brothers.
Varga tries to turn another former Melbourne City product in Mataferi, but instead it'll be a throw in here on this attacking right flank for City. Abdullahi, one of the 2 6s that City are employing, the other one Payos. Varga in front of them as the 10. Vicente is the right back.
There's a lot of buzz around Idris Abdullahi. Of course, made his A-League debut towards the end of
as a 15-year-old, the youngest debutant in Melbourne City history. I think it was maybe the 5th or the 6th youngest debutant in A-League history. Former Brunswick City youth is Idris. Of course, inspiring story, also a former refugee from Ethiopia. Is one of a number of players in this City side that is going to be in contention to travel with the Joeys to the Under-17 World Cup later in the year in Brazil. So he'll be looking to string some impressive performances together. Missed the derby against Victory last week because he was ill. So not sure what these freezing temperatures at the Veneto Club will do for a young lad that's been sick, but hopefully he can run around enough to stay warm. Unfortunately, that's not an option for us, Josh. As a long throw comes in now. Chested down, but City players quickly storm. Langy wanted penalty. They didn't get one, and I think it was Stojlovic that kind of just threw a lazy leg at it and put the ball over for a goal kick.
I don't think there was enough in it for a penalty kick on Etheridge. He was slightly caught, but mostly in the follow-through from his own effort.
And that is one of the things you do. Okay, you will probably see with Etheridge and maybe a number of these Langwarrin players, given that there is such a gigantic size advantage, the referee might be recalcitrant to pay those 50-50s in the direction of Langwarrin. Stellitano goes to work against Mataferi, and Mataferi just heads the ball out right in front of us here in the commentary position.
Not tempted to play ball boy there, Joey?
No.
Might warm you up a touch.
Instead, it will be a scholarship player, Gianluca Annucci, heading over to get it. Gianluca Annucci was probably City's best player against Victory last week, but he's on a well-earned rest currently, as now he plays ball boy once again. Chente puts the ball in. Gianluca Annucci, not one of those players looking for contention for the Joeys coming up later in the year, but instead the young Socceroos, who will kick off their AFC Under-20 Championship qualifying campaign in November of this year in Chinese Taipei.
I have to say it was instructive, the knowledge of the City players of this system. It seems very well drilled, and it seemed a chorus of players protesting Idris Abdullahi's decision-making there, which wasn't part of the plan.
Varga rides the challenge there and eventually gets the ball off. He was looking for Najjar, but perhaps a little bit of miscommunication there between Stellitano and Najjar. And another collection for McLaren. Stellitano, one of those players, he's been in this, it feels as though Stellitano has been in this City system for so long, but he's only an 02 born. So, as you're saying, I think he's been here for 3 or 4 years around the periphery of the 20s and the seniors, but that familiarity with the system, which it's a reason you see at a senior A-League level or even NPL 2 level sides that have been around for a while, as we pause quickly, as Portelli nutmegs his former teammate. Now the ball is worked over to the right side of the flank. Taleb is forced to get down low to save a shot from Stojlovic, but the danger not cleared yet as Langwarrin stay in attack.
What a magnificent run by Lucas Portelli. I think he beat about 3 players there.
Including the cheeky nutmeg, forcing one of his former teammates to change schools after that one. But the danger, well, it's not over for City, but they can try to work the ball out. But speak of the devil, Langy forced another turnover. They're doing a lot of that early. Got a strong challenge there from, I think it was Markovic, and now City can try to break. Stellitano goes to work. He's back to, well, there we go. That's just a bit of Stellitano and Lucente unable to link up properly, and Mataferi comes away with the ball.
Stellitano playing it to where Lucente should have been.
And as we said earlier in the broadcast, Josh, Lucente, one of the youngest players in this City side, even has only recently started playing senior football, so maybe there is some miscommunication and unfamiliarity with the senior setup. As he competes with Jantz for a header, and it will be a throw into the visitors. So you'd have to say it's been an interesting opening to this contest, Josh. We've just about gone 20 minutes. No real what you call clear chances on goal, but
I think the shot we saw just earlier from Damir Stojlovic was probably the best opening so far. A lot of attacking intent, not too many clear-cut chances. Here's the flying wing-back again.
Played through Etheridge, trying to bustle his way through, and then a last-ditch challenge from Mitch Graham. And the ball has come out in the end off Etheridge, and it will be a goal kick, but there we go, just Etheridge just trying to work his way through and could have had a shot. It was opening up in front of him.
Speaking of big bad bustling, that was some big bad bustling target man work from Max Etheridge. Didn't quite come off, and good covering challenge in the end, but he's going to be a threat. His physicality and his presence up front is exactly what this Langwarrin side needed.
And you can just see that the way they've set up there to press Langwarrin, Etheridge and Sturton going out to either side of the penalty area, Templin going into the middle of the penalty area, so no easy passing lanes for City. Who are, well, they will go long, but they're recalcitrant to do so if there are shorter options. As now they got to work on this left flank to try to get something perhaps going. Varga. Strong challenge from Portelli, but City will retain possession. Graham plays it through to Abdullahi, who has also had a haircut since I last saw him. Useless information, that one, but nonetheless, Stellatano gets us forward now to Abdullahi once again. Cross comes into the area, beats Najjar, and it's headed away. And Langy can break quickly down this left flank. Jantz. He's got Sturton to his left, uses him. Cuts back into the middle now. Acres of space in there to work in. Stojlovic plays it through, looking for Etheridge, but it's cut out. Abdullahi plays it out there onto the left flank to Kolakowski. He's got Karlic overlapping. Plays it back to Varga. Back to Kolakowski and then back to Karlic. No, to Varga, sorry. Graham now. Lucente comes under pressure, but he turns around the pressure easily and moves forward. And loops a ball across the field to cheers from Mitch Graham. Kolakowski's got time. Still has time. He's got time to turn and just scan for options. And in the end, he goes to Varga. Varga to Najjar. Najjar back to Varga. Varga tries to dance over the challenge, but in the end, it was Ahmedzai getting in there to clear the ball out for a throw-in. But that's maybe one of the more fluid moves forward we've seen from City so far, Josh.
Absolutely. Fantastic switching ball from Lucente, or Luch, as we heard Mitch Graham call him. Already got a nickname.
There's a few decent nicknames in this City youth side as the ball comes forward in the direction of Stellatano, who flicks the ball onwards, but it's an easy collection for McLaren. He's not playing today, but Nicholas Hatzigeorgiou, former Victory, is now at City, has the nickname Winks. So,
any idea of the origin?
I think because he runs a lot.
Oh, as in the horse? Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm with you now. Your old man would have got that straight off the bat, but, I needed a second or two.
So there will be a free kick to Langwarrin. Chance to get their bodies forward. You can see the likes of Etheridge moving into the area. Portelli ambling in. Ball instead is played out to the left to Mataferi. Mataferi, we'll call that. Oh, it's the back post, and he was onside, and it was cut back. That looked for all rights as if it was going to go out, but was not given up on by, I think it was Ahmedzai, who just ghosted through. I
believe it was Luke Burgess.
Luke Burgess, the defender.
He never gives up. That's one thing you can guarantee with Luke Burgess. He's a tenacious player.
Now, ball is looped in, but that will go out for a goal kick for City.
Speaking of Luke Burgess, the South African-born defender, I do admire his ability to continually win aerial balls that he has no right to win given his stature. He is brave. He's got a great spring in those legs, and he will never give up on a 50-50 or a lost cause, so it might seem.
Najar turns his man underneath the ball, and then Kolakowski runs through. Kolakowski back to Najar. Najar turns his man, has a shot on goal. It's in the back of the net. Najar turned his man and allowed the ball to run through. Kolakowski in support nicks it over. Cheeky celebration from Najar. Kolakowski and Najar, the two combine well, and it's against the run of play, Josh. 1-0 to Melbourne City.
Najar showed some wily positioning there. Of course, you cannot be offside directly from a goal kick. I think Langwarrin are complaining that there was a push in the back, perhaps on Jamie Cumming, the captain, but referee decided fair was fair. Najar turning his man brilliantly, combining with Kolakowski, and that's a striker's finish. Picking out the far corner with consummate ease. Fantastic finish from Moody Najar.
It's Najar's second goal in as many weeks, takes his season total to 4. The second leading goal scorer on this City side, with the only man to score more than him, Rami Najarine, on the bench today. We'll take you through the substitutes in a moment, but just, Josh, for Langwarrin, that's got to be a punch in the guts, doesn't it? You've been dominating these opening attacks, and City forced to play on the counter, and eventually one of those counters bears fruits as they break forward down the right, looking to answer back quickly, but the ball bounces clear. It will, however, be kept in by Jans. Going to work against Varga, plays it back to Mataferi. Yes, Josh, absolute just kick in the guts, punch in the solar plexus, whatever you want to call it, to find themselves down 1-0 for Langwarrin.
Certainly against the run of play, but that's football.
But they're pressing forward, just eager to find an equaliser. Jans, but a sliding challenge there prevents the proper shot getting off. Danger not passed, however, sliding challenge from Portelli. And City just eventually just go long.
It is a little ironic that for all of City's play out from the back, it's from a long ball that they actually scored.
Well, we were talking about big old-fashioned English number 9s before, Josh. Maybe a bit of 4-4-2 and Route 1 football is the way to win football games. Perhaps I'll go over and say to Melbourne City head coach Peter Kratky, or Checky as he is known, maybe a bit of 4-4-2, long balls over the top, stick the big lugget up front.
Moody Najar, he's not small.
He's not small, no. He's maybe not Etheridge size, but yes, he's not a type that's going to be intimidated.
Not going to be bullied by even this Langwarrin defence, well built as they are. Joe, we've seen some tasty NPL action across the state today as Ahmadzi takes over, the number 5. Out to Stojlovic, stepping inside. Templin on the ball, trying to combine with Etheridge. The back heel flick doesn't quite come off. It's back with Cumming. Cumming gets it back from Madafri and pumps it up to the chest of Max Etheridge. Stojlovic now under pressure. Ahmadzi with a nice little chip ball into the channel for Etheridge to chase, but it's well defended. City can come forward again.
Yes, chance for City to break play to Najar. They'll just put it back on the left, and Langy will get numbers back, so City will have to break them through, but no, they won't, because it's been turned over. And Langwarrin instead will try to build up from the back. You might be able to hear head coach, as that's a very poor challenge from Varga. He's pleading his case. He will be booked. It's a yellow card for the youngster, and I can't see who it is, Josh, but he's still down there.
I think it's Jordan Templin, Langwarrin's most important player. Hopefully he can continue. But he is the creative fulcrum, and that was a poor late challenge from Varga. Deservedly booked. Just looking around at the NPL 1 action we've seen today. Bentley Greens 4-0 winners over Melbourne Knights.
You were at that game, weren't you, Josh?
I was.
So maybe we'll get your thoughts on that in a bit more detail later.
Altona Magic coming from 2 goals down to defeat Dandenong Thunder 3-2 at home. 3 goals in the second half. The classic comeback from the home side. Heidelberg shockingly losing 2-1 at home to Hume City, with Mark Ocheng scoring the winner in the 93rd minute. And Port Melbourne straightforward 4-0 home win over Pascoe Vale. Terrific result for them.
Played into the area by Langwarrin, once again trying to get something going, but it's cleared out by the City defence. Yeah, Hume having a good week, aren't they? Through to the national stages of the FFA Cup, going in and for the second time in recent times, upsetting Heidelberg United. Heidelberg United will probably be very thankful to see the back of Hume City at the end of this season.
Hume are flying under the radar a little bit. Just a long throw goes in from Stojlovic going up for the header, unsuccessful, and City will break again.
This is a very dangerous, the quick pace of the City attack. Ball is played, well, it was Kolakowski looking for Najjar, but it's picked out by Mataferi, and now he's got a chance to maybe spring something going down that right flank. Ball is played back in, looking for Etheridge. The big man goes for it, lumbering onwards, but City nip in, and now, well, Taleb's not taking any chances, mate. Go route one with it. Headed back, but it's quickly taken again by, and it will be a free kick there. One by City. By Payos, I believe it was.
Some pretty elaborate hand gestures being dished out by Scott Miller on the sideline. Ahmadzi, that'll be advantage. Sturton continues.
Ref, now Langy won it played back, but Portelli is still on the ball, and the referee, and then, well, the referee's not going to be the most popular figure with the Langwarrin fans after that little bit, is he?
No, I think a little bit hasty. Referees are really hesitant to bring advantage back once they've given it.
Ball is not kept in, according to the linesman here on the broadcast side of the stadium.
Idris Abdullahi booked for that one. There's 2 yellow cards for the City midfielders. Referee bringing it back after the advantage call. Jamie Cumming having a few words with the linesman now.
A few disagreements from the Langwarrin players with the linesman and the referee. Jamie Cumming insisting that some of his preferred defensive tactics would draw a free kick, whereas those same tactics wouldn't draw one if he was wearing a City shirt.
Can't please everybody, can you? It's not an easy job.
Well, I suppose the most... it's just a wild effort there that could have been dangerous had it been put on target. Those ones that catch goalkeepers unaware coming in from Sturton, but instead it's gone wide for a goal kick. No. Well, I imagine what would cheer coming up even more so than maybe a few more calls would be an equaliser. They've probably on the balance of play, at least in the early stages, you would have said they deserved something from it, but instead they find themselves down 1-0.
Need to get Jordan Templin involved. Stojlovic has looked bright on the right-hand side, the right wing-back. He's been heavily involved, and Jamie Cumming again chirping at the referee after that aerial challenge. Instead,
City has a chance to break. Trying to get a bit of a triangle going, but the touch lets them down slightly, but they've still got the ball, and that's well worked forward. And now it's City that are chirping up wanting a free kick after Varga had to jump over the challenge. Kratky on the City sideline screaming at his boys to squeeze. His version of the instruction to apply pressure. Squeeze it. Peter Kratky, of course, is the third man to take Melbourne City's NPL side at one point during this season. They started the season with Joe Palatzidis as the gaffer, who has since departed the club and become the technical director of Singapore in the Asian Football Confederation. A new Australian abroad, doing the country proud over in Asia, engaging with Asia. And then for a brief period of games, it was Academy Technical Director Rado Vidicic in the dugout. And unfortunately for Peter, it's coincided with City's losing run, in which he's taken over as City's head coach, Mitch Graham is still down here holding his leg there. City want the ball put out. Their centre back is down.
Langwarrin
aren't putting the ball back. Mitch Graham has not moved in the defence.
No.
Lucente was just trying to foul Jansch to stop the danger there. And instead it will be a goal kick, and that is not going to... The City players aren't going to like that. Their central defender there went down and has not moved. The trainer coming onto the field.
Convention would dictate Langwarrin puts the ball out there, but there is no obligation if it's not a head injury. The referee doesn't have to stop the game. It's at the referee's discretion. It's more of a etiquette thing rather than hard and fast rule. But there's already been a little bit of niggle in this game.
A bit of chirpiness, yeah.
A couple of yellow cards. Langwarrin player's not happy with the goal as well. The referee's got to pay close attention to this one, make sure it doesn't boil over into anything unpleasant.
However, before that, of course, we hope that Graham will be okay to continue. City's captain, born in Bendigo, the first player to come from City's affiliate schools program out there in Bendigo, formerly of Bendigo Southeast College.
He'll be used to the cold then.
Absolutely. He's also formerly toured with City senior side. Well, he was on City's senior tour in India, and he's also toured China with an academy side. So the Bendigo boy already, despite the fact that he's yet to clock an official senior game, clocking up the air miles with Melbourne City. It's now Jansch onto possession on the left. He's also been busy early. He's having a good one. Over City quickly swarm him, and it's now a 2-on-1 situation, and he's done very well to keep the ball in and get it to Portelli, and Portelli flicks it on. But City wanted the ball put out, but instead Portelli kept the ball in and got a dangerous cross into the area that City had to scramble for. Atmansaigu's on the ball. The danger not gone yet. Mataferi. City play back, but Portelli really showing in this game. Perhaps his tail's up because he's playing his former side, Josh, but a deftness of touch and the like which you would not expect from a man his size.
Wouldn't expect it from a man who often plays in central defence as well. Of course, shifted into midfield today. That was a low percentage option, but he made it work. That was a brilliant piece of play. He's had 2 or 3 brilliant dribbles so far. Good touch for a big man, Joey.
As the famous saying goes. Well, he's a very interesting player, Sportelli, as well as that. He's also a bit of a set-piece specialist, and then he loves to bang in these free kicks. And he's also been known on occasion to have shots from as far off as the halfway line and actually trouble the goalkeeper with them on regularity. So doesn't mind a long shot and a goal, does the 6/centre-back new signing for Langwarrin.
He'd love a goal today too, I'm sure.
Do you reckon he celebrate? How do you celebrate that against your former side if you're Lucas Portelli? Do you run over to the bench? Do you give them a bit of stick? What do you do? I'm sure he's still got quite a few friends here in a City shirt. I'm sure he's still probably got a number of academy friends and young players. It's a bit of a fraternity, these young players around A-League sides watching on the live stream.
I'm firmly against the non-celebration celebration, so I hope he does. If he does get on the score sheet, something
Ball played into the
spectacular.
It was a speculative shot that came in there, but easy collection for Talib in the end, and he'll quickly move City forward to Varga, trying to dance around Portelli, who loses his feet.
Speaking of a man who doesn't mind a long-range effort, David Sturton's shown an appetite for it early on. Hasn't tested the goalkeeper particularly.
Just check Kolkowski on the right, on the left, puts the ball in, looking for Stellatano. Stellatano rises, but McLaren is strong with his collection. Looks to get going quickly, doesn't find an option, and instead will boot the ball long in the direction of Etheridge. Two City players collide, trying to win it, and in the end, this is dangerous. Etheridge is through. He's got men in support as well. But it's strong defending there from the City defence, and they'll actually clear. But excellent individual defending from City to clear what was a very promising attack for Langwarrin, Josh.
That was a dangerous moment, and it all arose from a pretty disastrous bit of friendly fire between the two City defenders, both going for the same header. Bit of a miscommunication. Not to mention a little bit dangerous. And
what we got here is a failure to communicate.
Coach's worst nightmare. No talk.
Mataferri plays a ball over the top looking for Etheridge. It's collected out, however, and City will have another chance to get going down the left. These two left-sided players, Kolakowski and Karlic, both making their returns to the starting lineup after layoffs with injury. Both came off the bench last week against Melbourne Victory. Kolakowski, he's been in the wars, has Kolakowski, recently coming back from a slightly less serious injury, but missed a significant portion of time in 2018 with an ACL injury, made his return in the Y League. Perhaps still buzzing is Kolakowski because, as I mentioned on the broadcast last week for the Youth Melbourne Derby, he's a gigantic Liverpool fan. Was frequently seen on the sidelines of City games wearing a Liverpool beanie and scarf during their run to the Champions League final. Now you can just see the difference here between the two sides, Josh, is that City content to just, initially they were just sitting back and allowing Langwarrin to collect themselves and get set before Najjar eventually provided the pressure. Payos plays it back to Graham, who'll get it to Abdullahi. Abdullahi will get it out there to Karlic on the left. It's got Kolakowski now. Karlic on the overlap, instead the ball goes back to Abdullahi. Payos looks over. They'll try to switch it. It's Lucente and Stellitano on the right. Ball goes to Lucente. Stellitano. Now Lucente tries the overlap and he'll get the ball back for Stellitano. Ball comes in behind the jar. Comes in for Kolakowski. Kolakowski can get it. Varga is there, however. Shot comes in, but it's blocked away. And that was well worked from City to work the ball from left to right and eventually get the ball in for Varga to have a shot that was turned away.
That's the strategy, switching the point of attack, moving this Langwarrin defence around, perfectly executed, and it was a desperate challenge, and I think maybe a save in the end from McLaren as well. Combination of defender and goalkeeper getting it away, but very well worked.
City demonstrating some of, well, there is it is a very young side, this Melbourne City side, but it's a young side. They're in the academy of an A-League side. There's a reason for that. They've got the ability to produce moments like that out of nothing. Not with the regularity of the senior side, because if they could, of course, they'd be playing for the senior side, but they do try to play a system which prepares them for A-League football, and occasionally you will see flashes of that A-League potential in their moves forward like that one.
Fresh opportunities for these youngsters to impress the new head coach, whoever that might be, coming into coach City next season.
Few rumours floating around. Probably would anticipate an announcement of that in the near future if I hear correctly. As Stellitano moves forward and flicks the ball onwards, looking for Najjar. Lucente gets onto it. But the ball is not cleared, however, until McLaren dives onto it. But Lucente loves an overlap, doesn't he?
Love an attacking fullback, Joey, and he's certainly showing some enthusiasm up this right-hand side to get up and support the attack. It's so difficult for the winger to track back.
Ball comes forward in the direction of Etheridge again. Sturton now. Stojlovic. Ball is still being worked around there. And it will be a goal kick eventually as City shut down the danger. But this is a Langwarrin side, Josh, that will be keen to get... Well, they need the 3 points, I should say, because earlier tonight, Bulleen did lose their fixture. Second place Bulleen lost against Manningham in a local derby, which means that there is a chance for Langwarrin to, as that is going to be a booking for Jaden Mataferri, bringing down Lucente. The two clashing. Langwarrin, not a big fan of the decision, but as I was saying, Langwarrin have a chance to make up grounds on second place Bulleen, who lost earlier today, and they've lost two straight coming into this game as well, Josh. So, if you want to make movement, as the referee signals, we will have 2 minutes of additional time here at the Veneno Club. If you want to make moves up the table and challenge for promotion, you've got to put the bottom side away, don't you?
Absolutely, and it's getting tighter and tighter at the top there in NPL 2 East. Eastern Lions and Bulleen have all dropped points.
Northcote City
recent
making
weeks.
a challenge as well.
Yeah, relegated NPL one side. You expect them to be among the contenders. But just commenting on the play earlier, that's a frustration reaction from Mataferi, I should say, and he just really didn't need to do that. I think it should have been a free kick earlier in the piece, but you can't react like that.
College moves move forward, gets the ball to Kolakovsky on the left, plays it back to Najar. Najar has time to try to turn towards goal, but his touch lets him down, and it's booted clear by the Langwarrin defence. Varga did go down in the lead into that play, but I believe that was just maybe a clash of heels and nothing malicious. As the throwing comes to Abdullahi, he'll work it to Payos. Payos will, well, it's not the best pass in the world, but Dalibor Markovic has time to collect and try to play the ball forward, looking for Kolakovsky. Just kept in by Stojlovic. But in the end, perhaps maybe he shouldn't have, because Kolakovsky gets on the ball and he tried to play it through, but now Portelli. As the chance of squeeze it from the City bench come out, Portelli works it across to Jans on the left. And that will be a free kick given away by Giovanni Stellitano for the late challenge on Jans.
It's an interesting high wire act that Langwarrin are going with here, with that back three and the wing backs being so attacking, so advanced. It seems as if they're getting left basically 3-on-3 with the City front line, and if there's a player who misses a tackle, there's often a free player at the back post with those City crosses. So especially in transition, Langwarrin are looking a little vulnerable. They do have a fantastic opportunity now off the set piece. Stroke of half time. If you want an equaliser, this is the time for it to change the momentum of this game.
Absolutely, as the ball will get put in. Headed onwards. Oh, and it's just wide of the post. It was, as you said, Josh, the final moment. Ball was put in by Jordan Templin. And did you see who had it with the header? It was in the direction of Etheridge. I don't think it was Etheridge that ended up getting his head on it, but whoever it was a powerful header that just went wide of the goalposts. But unfortunately for Langwarrin, it didn't go in, which means that at half-time here at the Veneto Club, at David Barrow Stadium, it is Melbourne City who weathered the storm early and then went ahead in the 27th minute through a Mooney Najar strike after he combined well with Kolakovsky, used his body to turn around off a long clearance out, meaning that City take a lead into half-time in this one. All to play for in the second half here at the Veneto Club. I've been Joey Lynch in the first half, joined by Josh Parrish, and at the end of 45, it's Melbourne City 1, Langwarrin 0. And welcome back. It's Saturday night, and where would you rather be than in front of YouTube or Facebook watching some fantastic NPL Victoria, NPL 2 Eastern Conference action between visiting Langwarrin and your host Melbourne City, as we briefly pause as Jans moves the ball forward for Langwarrin. Pleasantries briefly suspended as Langwarrin get the ball forward in attack, but it's turned over. Yes, welcome to the Veneto Club for a clash between the visiting Langwarrin SC and the hosts Melbourne City, with the youngsters of the Academy of Melbourne City bringing a 1-0 lead into this second half after Moody Najar's 27th minute opening goal. The young striker doing fantastically to turn his defender from a goal kick, allow the ball to move forward for his winger Stefan Kolakowski. Kolakowski getting the ball, who now on possession. Kolakowski, he got the ball back to Najar. Najar turned his man, cut inside and fired the ball into the back of the net to give City a 1-0 lead and potentially put them on course for their first win since early April. My name is Joe Lynch. I'm joined here by Josh Parrish, as I will throw it to him in a sec, as Jans once again doesn't want to let me finish the sentence moving forward. I'm joined here by Josh Parrish for the second half. Josh, well, you've seen a lot of Langy this year. What does Langy need to do to get back into this game and get at least a point?
I think they made a good start by switching the wing-backs. They've switched wings. I think Brandon Jansch was coming too far infield from the left-hand side onto his favoured right foot. Damir Stojlovic, also a right-footed player, but I think he's a lot more two-footed than Jansch seems to be. So getting a little bit more width through those wing-backs is a great start. Aside from that, Etheridge needs to get more involved in the game. They need to be able to hit his feet and play off him as a hold-up striker. That's where Langy do their business. Etheridge almost being the decoy as the linesman flags for a free kick there, and it's Templin and Stojlovic who are likely going to be... Sorry, Templin and Sturton, I should say, likely going to have to come up with the goals if they're from open play, because those two attacking midfield players, they're the ones who goes into the box, playing off of Etheridge.
City try to move the ball forward. A long ball played in the direction of Najar, but it's cut out by the Langwarrin defence. And now Langwarrin will try to matriculate the ball through the centre, but it's picked out. Ball is played to Najar, who plays it back to Varga, but it's a strong challenge from Cumming. The ball is not cleared yet, but now it should be, as McLaren just smothers it. It's a rather cold night here out at Melbourne City's new home digs of the Veneto Club, Bulleen. They'll be playing out of the ground for the rest of the NPL Victoria season, with some fog descending upon the field under the Baskervilles vibes as we get going in the second half.
We'll answer the question.
However, hopefully the action on the field is hot.
Joey, they'll be answering the question, can these talented young boys do it on a cold night at the Veneto Club?
Yes. Now, touch wood that doesn't attract the other part of that phrase. It's just not a cold, rainy night at the Veneto Club. We're already playing on an artificial surface here. If that was to get a bit wet, the ball might start skidding around even more, and then who knows what would happen as Langy get going once again, playing a ball into the centre in the direction of Etheridge, but it's cut out by Mitch Graham, who immediately yells at his side to get forward. Clash there, and Najar goes down, but the ball is continued onwards by Langwarrin, and now they've got a chance to move out here on this left flank. Tucking and weaving, but they're forced to play it back to Marzi. Ball is played out. It was in the direction of Portelli, but he let it run for Jans, but the two can't combine, and it will be a goal kick to the hosts. And well, we got what you thought needed to happen for Langwarrin to take something from this game, Josh. If you were Peter Crackey over there in the Melbourne City dugout, what would you be telling your boys to protect this lead and get that elusive 3 points?
Well, I think another goal is the order of the day for Melbourne City to really get comfortable in this match, and I would be urging them to press really high as Melbourne City give away a free kick.
Bit of a sarcastic cheer going up from the Langwarrin fans. They weren't a fan of how Najar was allowed to use his body on the goal kick that led to City's opening goal.
We've since reviewed the footage at half-time, Joey, and I think the consensus was it was never a foul. Never a foul whatsoever. But
the joys of Route 1 football is now Langwarrin get moving forward. Etheridge heads it back in, but he'll get another chance now. Tries to chest it down. Dalibor Markovic providing pressure. City yelling out no corner as Karlic and Markovic eventually put the ball out for a throw-in, so they haven't given away that corner. And the chance to now bang Langwarrin up here.
I think Melbourne City, and the chances that they do get to transition, their pace will be really threatening, especially in wide areas with Langwarrin playing a bit of a narrow back three. The wing-backs can get caught upfield.
This long throw comes in. The City has 11 men in the penalty area, just crowding that, not letting Langwarrin have any space to move. It's now applying the pressure quickly. Varga quickly came out and not allow Amadzi any sort of breathing room. As the off flag is raised, that will be offside. So running you through the two sides, sorry to cut you off, Josh. No. In goal for Melbourne City, we've got Ahmed Taleh playing at right back. Is Daniel Lacente. The centre backs are Dalibor Markovic and Mitch Graham, and at left back, Mark Karlic. The two sixes for City as the ball is played forward in the direction of Ajan. The two sixes, Idris Abdullahi and Emil Payos. The 10 is Josh Varga, and then up front on the left wing is Stefan Kolakowski. On the right wing, Jaden Mataferi. No, it's not Jaden Mataferi. On the right, what am I talking about? On the right wing is Giovanni Stellatano, and the number 9 is Mouni Nujar. As Langwarrin, we'll take you through them in a second. They try to get something going. On the bench for City, well, there's Luka Romic, Alec Mills, Jordi Valadon, but then two very impressive names that should be, well, exciting if you are joining us as a City fan, or maybe disconcerting if you are joining us as a Langwarrin fan. Ready to come on for the first time in a number of weeks is Connor Metcalf and Rami Najareen for Melbourne City. Well, they're A-League capped. Rami Najareen, of course, scoring an absolute banger against the Central Coast Mariners in the final round of the A-League season. Two young Socceroos, two boys that probably heading into the next A-League season would be hoping to become A-League regulars. Just how important could their presence be off the bench, Josh?
They could make a huge impact. Obviously, they'll be lucky to get half an hour on this field, but you know, Rami Najareen has already been the bane of Langwarrin's existence this season, and they faced each other in round 1. He netted twice in the 3-2 win, including the winner in stoppage time. So, I mean, what more can you say about Rami Najareen? One of the brightest prospects in all of Australian football, let alone NPL 2 Eastern Victoria, Joey. Yes,
Sturton got a brace for Langwarrin in that game as well, didn't he? So hopefully Langwarrin will hopefully, for their sake, be trying to get him going as they move the ball back. Josh, do you want to take us through how Langwarrin have come out for this second half?
Well, they're playing a 3-4-2-1 or a 3-4-1-2, depending on the standing of the players up front. But, yeah, it is a back three. Fraser McLaren is between the sticks.
That's a poor clearance, and there's a chance for Portelli to wind up a shot, but it's played back onwards to Etheridge. The City defence wanted an offside, but in the end, it works out for Langwarrin. Portelli scuffs his shot, but it bounces straight onto the forehead of Max Etheridge, who makes no mistake, says thank you very much for your gift, and puts it beyond Taleb to put things back at 1-1 in the 55th minute of this contest. And Josh, that's exactly what Langwarrin would have wanted early in the second.
Bit of a lucky break, and what can you say? The City defence just going to sleep, not holding the line, not getting out of their penalty area when the ball was cleared, and just a scuffed, shot. I think it was a shot from Lucas Portelli, but bounces up off this artificial surface straight onto the head of Max Etheridge. That's the break Langwarrin needed, and they're level.
And now they got a chance to go forward again through Templin, who get the ball out to Stojlovic on the right, and that's cut out. But I guess in his first ever start for his new club, second ever appearance, first game against his old side, Portelli finds himself with an assist. And now Langwarrin can push for a second, and it is, we'll pause briefly as the long throw comes in from Templin. Just it down by Etheridge, who flicks it on, but City put the ball out. It is always a danger if you are these young academy sides for City or Victory, that there is a tendency to drop heads when things start to go wrong, which is just a matter of inexperience. And if Langwarrin can really apply the pressure here they don't even need to score, but they just need to intimidate this young side, they could have the going a lot easier for the rest of the game, Josh.
Absolutely, and Max Etheridge up front, chief among the intimidatory presences. It's just going through this Langwarrin team they've put out for the second half. No changes at the break. The back three comprised of Jamie Cumming, Luke Burgess, and Jaden Madaffrey as City break.
We'll break quick stop here as Kolakowski has room. He can get it on his left foot. He was looking for Najar. The sliding challenge comes in. Kolakowski will get a second chance. Payos has time. You can hear just the screaming from the City bench. They wanted Payos to tee up a shot. Instead, he tried to flick it off. Langwarrin converge, and they'll put the ball out for a throw-in. Should he have pulled the trigger there, Josh?
I think so. I think if he got an opportunity on the edge of the box, it seemed to sit up nicely for him. He was being closed down by Jaden Madaffrey and maybe just decided to be a little bit too cute. Again, maybe inexperience becoming a factor in this game. We know David Sturton or Jordan Templin would have pulled the trigger there, I think.
Once again, we see what City have tried to do when they're able to get going, moving forward, working the ball up the flanks, getting behind the Langwarrin three-man backline, and then centering the ball in for Najar or the arriving winger on the other side. On that occasion, a good sliding challenge to prevent what probably would have been a rather simple tap-in. As we get to see our first substitution of the game being made. Josh Varga is coming off, being replaced by Connor Metcalf. So there we go, one of these aces in the hole of Peter Kretke making his appearance 12 minutes into the second half. So we'll have over half an hour to work with. Will Connor Metcalf?
Maybe the equaliser prompting his introduction.
Perhaps indeed. City, well, it's always a difficult situation when you are talking about the academies of both Melbourne Victory and Melbourne City, that they are unique amongst NPL Victoria sides in that their primary aim isn't to win football games, it's to develop players. They will sacrifice a win at NPL level if it means getting a win at A-League level. So, but at the same time, no side, no matter what you are, academy, veteran, over 35s, church league, nobody wants to lose 8 games in a row. So City will be desperate to try to find another goal to make it 2-1 and restore that lead.
Having appeared in the Church League earlier today, Joey, I can categorically tell you that nobody wants to lose in the Church League. But
Did you win?
We did.
There you go.
Narrowly, 3-2. That's anyway. Enough of my exploits.
The ball now is moved forward once again by City. They'll try to get something going. Early touches for Metcalf. He'll play the ball back to Graham.
I think a win here would be just huge for the confidence of these City players. Obviously, losing 7 on the bounce has to wear, regardless of the goals of this development program being different to the other NPL2 sides.
And I mean, City with a new head coach coming in, you don't want the new A-League head coach to come in and say, right, brief me on the academy. Oh, they've lost 8 straight. That's not something that, it's not a good look, even if you are right, you do need to get into the nuts and bolts of it. As City trying to move the ball into the middle of the park. Najar had a clash and he stayed down.
Walking a little gingerly on that right ankle.
And that is not... Najar has had his problems with lumps and bumps and knocks and bruises throughout the season. He's not the type of player City can afford to lose. And he's also, well, with the new head coach coming in, he'll need to, well, get a chance to see how he's running here. Tried to chase it down, but McLaren was off his line strongly. Just cut it down there. Stojlovic flicking the play onwards down to Templin. Langwarrin trying to get set up once again. Ball comes low towards in the direction of Etheridge. Dalibor Markovic with a strong tackle. And it's only come straight back out to Burgess. Burgess will just switch the play onto the left flank to Madaffrey.
There's been too much action in this game for us to actually make it all the way through the Langwarrin side, Joey.
Well, maybe start with the midfield this time, Josh. What's the midfield looking like?
Well, we've got Damir Stojlovic on this right wing-back role. In the holding midfield too, Lucas Portelli and Thomas Armadzi. On the left wing-back is Brandon Yanch. And then there's Jordan Templin and David Sturton supporting Max Etheridge in the number 9 role.
And I'll just quickly cut you off there, Josh, because speak of the devil, and he may appear, the other big guns on the City bench is coming onto the field. Giovanni Stellitano coming off, being replaced by Rami Najjarine. So Rami Najjarine making his first appearance for City in quite a while. Very exciting for any Melbourne City fans viewing on the stream. Chance for Rami Najjarine to go to work, as it's now Najjar on the ball instead. He'll get the ball back to Metcalf. And now Abdullahi, if you would. And who's playing up front for Langy, Josh?
Big bad Max Etheridge. New signing in the mid-season transfer window for Langwarrin. I think a sorely needed acquisition. They've let Rodrigo Covarrubias walk. And, you know, he was something of a cult hero there, a fan favourite for his work rate and his physicality and the way he, you know, enabled other players to play off of him, but the form he was in, he just wasn't hitting the target. He wasn't scoring goals, and they need goals from that 9.
There's a clash there. Could have possibly been a handball, but the advantage to Sturton was played, and now a chance to whip this ball in, but Talib is up strongly, the Joey's goalkeeper, to collect. Wanted to break quickly, but nothing on him. He'll be first to throw it out.
And judging by what we've seen so far, Etheridge already getting on the score sheet tonight. He's a more threatening proposition than their previous options in the out-and-out striker were.
Chance now City walk the ball into the middle of the park. Perhaps with A-League player Metcalf in that role, City will have a bit more joy going through the middle, but not if Metcalf is going to turn the ball over like that and give Langwarrin a chance to move forward once again. Etheridge just holding the play up, looking... Etheridge just using his body so well there.
There's
the
that
likes of
experience.
Payos and Karlic, just they're not gonna win too many one-on-one battles with that big man.
They've resorted to double teaming him most of the time when he's in possession, or triple teaming him.
Yes. That time we saw it earlier in the half. Najjar called for unfairly using his body to try and turn his man, much to the disgust of the Langwarrin fans surrounding us here in the grandstand of the Veneto club. That time it is Etheridge who has been pinged for the infraction. As Abdullahi on the ball splays it across the field to Graham. Back to Abdullahi. Stretch this Langwarrin side out. The press that was so evident early in the game from Langwarrin has dissipated slightly, but City are now finding that in turn, whilst they've got time in this back line, there aren't a lot of passing lines for them to exploit as they're again forced to go back.
Najjarine picking up a slightly late clip of the ankles from Yanch there, but play goes on.
Yes, Karlic tries to move forward. He's gone around 2 men. And now that's opened up space for Kolakowski on the left, but a strong sliding challenge in there.
That's classic Luke Burgess for you, Joey. That's what he's all about. He's all about covering for his teammates, strong tackles, putting his body on the line. He'd probably have a few scrapes from the artificial surface at the end of this game.
Burgess arriving at Langwarrin in 2018, had stints at Dandenong City, Whittlesea and Oakley prior to that. So another one of these Langwarrin players with a lot of experience around NPL Victoria.
I do wonder if we'll see Wayne Wallace tonight. Very experienced, vastly experienced central midfielder for Langwarrin.
2014 NPL Victoria Media Player of the Year is Wayne Wallace.
I think he was the outstanding midfielder for years in the top flight.
As that ball is played into that, looking for Kolakowski, who was offside in the end. It wouldn't have counted. Not quite Wimmers World Cup levels, but the flag did come up late there to give Langwarrin the free kick. Of course, thankfully, Josh, no VAR here at David Barrow Stadium here at the Veneto Club, so none of those silly buggers either.
Well, we don't know quite what Football Victoria is planning for next season. We've had streaming this campaign, so who knows? Goal line technology, VAR and NPL.
Who knows? It's now play switched over to Portelli. He's dancing around challenges. Is the big man. Applies the pressure to Abdullahi, who does well to turn and get it out to Metcalf. And Metcalf will put the ball back to Najjarine. Najjarine will look up and just put a left-footed pass towards Najjar. It's cleared, but Nazarene will get another chance, but he's bundled over, and fairly, according to the referee. And now the ball is played down this right flank for Etheridge. He's got to keep it in, but he can't. Ball rolls out, but perhaps showing Najjar there maybe a bit of a
flashpoint here.
Flashpoint between Markovic and Etheridge. Dalibor Markovic, one of these City players, he will not back down. No doing though, but we saw there from Nazarene maybe his touch, slight bit of rust there from the young sensation. It's now City coming forward again through Graham. Graham turns around this man and just plays it back. Connor Metcalf comes under pressure from Stojlovic. But he's able to get it out there onto that right flank. Whoever Langy come away with it once again. But it will be a throw-in to Melbourne City. No substitutions yet from Langwarrin, Josh. When do you think we might see Scott Miller turn into his bench? We are in the 22nd minute here of the second half.
I think it's probably time for a change. I think the press has dropped off a little bit from Langwarrin. The energy is a little sapped, and they could use some fresh legs off the bench. As for who that would be, have to have a look at the team sheets here. See what those options are.
Kolakowski moves the ball forward. It's flicked onwards. But Najjar can't get on the end of it.
Bench options being Guy Keegan, Jonas Shabani, Alexander Van Heerwaarden, Wayne Wallace, and Faraz Zenuzi.
Metcalf spins around the challenge from Sturton. Gets the ball out to Lachente on the right, who gets to Nazarene.
Unlikely to see Faraz Zenuzi. Of course, he's the backup goalkeeper they've brought in from the Casey Comets.
Now this is a chance for City to get something going as Metcalf goes to work, gets it back to Nazarene. Nazarene swings a ball in, and there was men waiting in the box, but it was Najjar waiting at the far post, but another strong collection from McLaren. Just puts this boot through it. It's headed straight back. Metcalf chests it down to Abdullahi. Abdullahi has Karlic on the left flank, uses him. Najjar continues to run as well. Karlic tries to get it through to him, but it's cut out well. But then Najjar showing the energy and the running that he loves to do, defending from the front. Well, I don't think he loves to do it, but he does it. He does it nonetheless. I don't think any striker actually loves to do that sort of stuff.
Still has shown the appetite for it, at least.
So it just gets the ball to Karlic. Karlic is just hip and shouldered over, really, by Burgess, but it will be a goal kick.
I feel like I'm repeating myself here, Joey, but that's classic Luke Burgess. Doesn't back down from a challenge. Even a mildly unnecessary one. And Sturton flicks it on. Templar's going to chase this one. Langwarrin wanted the play pulled back for an earlier foul. Referee paying no heed to those appeals. The City get it going. That's a fantastic ball to find Metcalf.
Metcalf can cut the ball, but his cutback just lets him down. Had men arriving.
It was Lachente, who's been one of the outstanding performers tonight, in my book. Fantastic ball to find Metcalf there, but one of the more experienced members of this City lineup, Connor Metcalf, perhaps didn't execute or didn't make the right decision.
And once again, that rust coming into, as he pulls up from range, but he's put that well over the bar, has Connor Metcalf.
And we will see a substitution for Langwarrin now. And it will be that man, Wayne Wallace, coming on for David Sturton.
How would you assess Sturton's performance tonight, Josh?
A little bit disappointing. I'm used to seeing a bit more from him. Hasn't been as involved as he could be. But in all honesty, this is a defensive change from Langwarrin. Interesting, because I think they'd be expecting or hoping to get 3 points here. Looks as if Wayne Wallace will join Jordan Templin in supporting the attack. Usually plays a more holding midfield role these days. Does have a thumping shot from distance, Wayne Wallace, if he does get the space. Stojlovic turns under pressure. Here's Ahmadzi.
Chance for Langy to get going, but it's well picked out by Karlich. Ball comes crashing and bashing straight into the grandstand.
Thought we were going to have to duck for cover, Joey. Here's Karlich in possession.
Tries to work the ball through to Kolakowski, but Metcalf's done well to keep it alive. Kolakowski, he's nutmegged this man and he's through. Kolakowski, he's going to have to cut the ball back, but strong defence from Jans to react to the danger and prevent Kolakowski from getting something going.
Kolakowski was fouled there. The referee acknowledged it. It was just outside the area and he let the play run. But perhaps Kolakowski would have preferred the free kick just right on the edge of the box.
City have got a number of cheeky little set-piece routines from close range that they do like to run at times.
Have to make do with the corner.
I've been told to keep my trap shut about their cheeky set-piece routines by some of the City staff around us. Of course, this game live on Facebook and YouTube, so had they busted one out on this game, I don't think there was much keeping quiet about it. And I believe, in fact, one of the other cheeky set-pieces that they pulled off earlier in the season, Moody Najjar promptly put on his Instagram. So
it's not exactly covert operations,
no.
Is it? I don't think there's a highlight from Melbourne City's NPL2 campaign that doesn't make it onto somebody's Instagram story.
No, absolutely. I imagine you will likely see Moody Najjar's goal from earlier tonight on a Instagram feed near you, should you happen to follow the City striker. This new generation of footballers. Something Paul Pogba. No, we love it. Love a bit of emotion, love a bit of personality from our footballers.
Of course, all the Langwarrin players are very old school. None of them own phones. They're all communicate via carrier pigeon.
Wonder what they would have thought of Sam Kerr's statements after the game, which I loved. As Etheridge heads the ball onwards. No, not Etheridge. It was Wallace.
Yes, big Wayne Wallace, his frame up in support, maybe looking for an aerial threat in the box, given his position further forward than usual.
Now Kolakowski, and he's got Karlich on the overlap. Cuts inside, Jans gives pursuit. Tries to slide a ball through to Metcalf, who's frustrated, wanted it at his feet, didn't get it. Markovic comes through. But his challenge is danced around. It's getting a bit tight there in the middle. Metcalf comes charging back. Payos can't win it, and instead it's Portelli moving the ball out there onto the left flank. Madafri gets it back to Portelli, who'll swing the ball across to Jans. And that ball is just booted clear. No chances taken whatsoever by Markovic. But it's come straight back. Etheridge, under pressure, tries to play the ball forward, and another strong challenge by Markovic gives Langwarrin the throw-in. Markovic is really... doesn't have the size or strength as Etheridge, but he's not backing down, is he, Josh?
Well, we've had a fascinating duel between those two so far. I hate to keep harping on about it, but I do feel as if Brandon Jansch, as a wing-back, should be hugging the touchline a little more. He seems to be coming in field all the time. I'm not sure if that's his natural position, but seems to have a penchant for just coming inside and narrowing the play, and it's really getting things congested for Langwarrin, whereas Stojlovic on the other side is actually providing a real overlapping width.
As we are now into the last 15 minutes here as the fog begins to descend upon the Veneto club, but now City have a chance to break forward. That's Najjarine, who'll play the ball through onto the left flank to Kolakowski. Najjar is in the middle. Flicked over the top, back to Najjarine, but it's headed clear. Metcalf is looking, however, but it's done well by the Langwarrin defence to clear the danger. That was a quick break with a lethal intent from City, but now Langwarrin trying to build. Etheridge just flicks the ball onwards for Templin. Templin gives chase, slides in, but it will go straight back to Taleb, and given that he didn't actually bend down to pick the ball up, looks like it was Graham who with the back pass. Now Graham will put the ball forward to Metcalf. There's Lucente from the right back. He'll play it looking for Najjarine. Najjarine now. Put the ball across to Kolakowski, but just come in there strong from Burgess. Burgess has kept up his run, and there's space for him to move into if Wallace used him. Instead, Wallace turns around and switches the play onto that left flank, much to the disgust of Burgess. And Abdullahi nips in and just says, right, away with you, and puts the ball long to coming.
I think Burgess making that run all the way from the back three, he was expecting to be rewarded with the ball, but Wayne Wallace had other ideas.
Yeah, Madafri. Plays the ball forward to Etheridge, but it's cut out.
Could be an option for Langwarrin late in this game if they want to search for a winner. Kind of a Sheffield United inspired Chris Wilder overlapping centre-backs.
Maybe a chance, maybe stick Big Portelli up front. He is about, sometimes it looks like he's 7 feet tall. Maybe stick him in the box and look for his head. Mitch Graham and Delibor Markovic, not the tallest centre-backs in the world.
Jonas Shabani is a player on the bench for Langwarrin that I think we might see not too long, number 7. He's an attacking player. Maybe someone like...
Oh, that's a strong challenge there from Burgess.
Again?
Peak Luke Burgess?
Yes. I don't know about peak, but it's certainly classic Luke Burgess.
Classic Luke Burgess.
That's a massive challenge from Wayne Wallace.
Strong challenge from Wayne Wallace.
Draws a round of applause for the Langwarrin away supporters.
Of course, we've talked about all the players on the pitch for City. Wayne Wallace does have a number of players. Wayne Wallace does have a very decorated resume. Arrived in Australia from England in 2008. Has had stints with Sunshine, well, at the time, Sunshine George Cross.
Now Caroline Springs.
Yeah, Bentley Greens, Hume and Oakley. So, experienced campaigner, the type that you'd love having to bring off the bench if you are engaged in a promotion push like Langwarrin are. Karlich plays the ball to Abdullahi. Moves the ball onto Najjar. Abdullahi goes backwards. City bench wanted to go forward, but now City have the ball forward in Metcalf in the middle of the park. He puts the ball forward to Najjar out there on the right side of the box. He tried to play the ball back for Metcalf to run onto, but Burgess was there to clear the danger. But you can see it's still, you would say that Langwarrin still are on top in this one, Josh, but you can just see that the introduction of Metcalf and Najjarine, there is a bit more fluidity perhaps, or a bit more lethality behind the attacks that City are launching forward.
It's certainly added some real pedigree to this lineup off the bench. Najjarine, Metcalf, two players who you can just see are
better than a lot of their teammates.
They're a cut above at this level, and you know they've obviously
around the bush. They are.
They are. They're the outstanding players in the City Academy at present, and you know I think it would be a shame if we don't see more of them in the A-League next season.
Absolutely, that's one of the things so often talked about, this bottleneck that exists for young talent at all levels of the Australian football pyramid, or maybe it's a bit generous to call it a pyramid currently. The Australian football system, perhaps a better describer of it.
Hierarchy.
Yeah. As the ball is put out long by McLaren.
And that's why Wayne Wallace is playing in an advanced position. He wants that flick on, but there was no one making the run. I do wonder whether someone like Ahmadzi could be sacrificed at this point in time for Langy. I think this is a game where they should be pushing for the 3 points, not settling for one.
We're about to we're in the 80th minute here at the Veneto Club at David Barrow Stadium. Scores are tied at 1-1 after Mouni Najjar's first half goal was cancelled out by a close range Etheridge header, who was the big number 9 was able to quickly react to Portelli's missed shot. Kolakowski, Metcalf was screaming forward, wanting the ball, and you can see, well, you can't see it because you're following the action, but his frustration behind the play evident as now Langwarrin move forward. Templin. But Graham strongly with the challenge, the City captain.
Important tackle there, really important. Langwarrin had the numbers. That was a threatening attack. A really classy little touch from Wayne Wallace to set them away. You can see, speaking of pedigree, his real class and pedigree.
It's been very good ever since he came onto the pitch, as it will be Stojlovic to put the ball in.
I don't think he's ever been a player who's relied upon his pace, and despite his advancing years, he's still a threat as he rises for this set piece. Etheridge.
Is that a shot? No, it's not. It's to Burgess, but Burgess is offside.
It was a well-struck effort.
Yeah. Well controlled by Burgess as well.
Has scored a goal or two this season, I believe.
Wins the throw. Well, we've already busted out the phrase, good touch for a big bloke, good touch for a defender. For Burgess, as Taleb, under pressure, is forced to just put the ball long, was looking for Kolakowski, but the ball has gone out instead for a throw-in, which Burgess will take quickly and give it back to Cumming. And he will put the ball across the left flank to Matafari. Looked to play the ball in the middle to Wallace, but instead it's picked out by the City, by Payos it was. Now Lucente, chance to break down the right flank, and he'll work the ball to Najarian and continue his run, but it's played back into the middle to Metcalf. Metcalf is looking at the pass, cut out, but he'll get another chance.
Really important tackle from Jamie Cumming there.
Kolakowski has space. Kolakowski launches a shot, but it's wide of the post. Kolakowski, that was really the first time. Well, he's had a number of chances where he opted to put the ball back into the middle looking for an arriving winger or Najjar, but that time the space opened up in front of him, lashed out with a right boot, but it's just splayed wide of the post for City.
Really presentable opportunity there for City to snatch the 3 points here. Still time left for both sides to find a winner. Well, either side, I should say. It'd be difficult for both of them to find a winner.
So it will be a throw-in on this right flank.
Burgess sending it long. Flicked on by Yanch to Etheridge, but Karlich reels it in.
Now City can come away. Kolakowski putting the ball over to Najjar, and Najjar, the number 9, unfamiliar position on the left wing, but he's got some space. What can he do with it? But that's going to be a free kick, possibly a booking. Just wasn't really what you'd call a culture challenge of that from Burgess, was it, Josh?
Not so much. And I don't think it was a foul he needed to give, actually. I think it was a bit clumsy. And Burgess has actually talked himself into a yellow card here. Referee wasn't going to give it, but it seems to be for dissent rather than the tackle.
Well, like I said, you've seen a lot more of Langwarrin this season than Josh. Is that classic Luke Burgess?
Yes and no.
But regardless, it's now given Melbourne City a chance to get one of these cheeky set pieces going. I'll look at the City staff. Should we kill the feed for the cheeky set piece so the info doesn't get out? No, we're all good to continue. As Najarian stands over the ball with his left boot, puts it in towards the far post, but in the end, well, I don't think City will have any objections to footage of that one getting out. Maybe Najarian would. It was easily collected by McLaren.
That's not going to be made into a boomerang, that one.
No, I won't be seeing that on Najarian's Instagram anytime soon.
Complete absence of cheekiness about that set piece routine, Joey.
Yeah, let me down. Wallace goes from range, but it's blocked.
He does have a long-range wallop in his locker, Wayne Wallace, his massive frame. He nearly scored the goal of the season against South Melbourne in the FFA Cup. Smashed one from about 35, 40 metres, just over the crossbar, dipping, swerving. Can't give him space. Thankfully for opposition defences, he isn't the quickest, so you usually have time to close him down.
Of course, FFA Cup still in action. We know half the sides that will represent Victoria on the national stages, Hume City and the Melbourne Knights, all winning through in the past week. And then in this coming week, we will see the Moreland Zebras travel to Altona to face the Magic for one of the other places. And then at this stadium, it will be Dynamo St Albans paying a visit to FC Bulleen Lions, who, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast tonight, suffered a surprise defeat, 1-0 defeat at the hands of local rivals Manningham. So perhaps a defeat with the FFA Cup in mind. Of course, everybody knows the benefits that come to these NPL sides with the national exposure. As ball comes to Najjar on the left, he'll cut it back in, but there's just no one waiting there. And Matafari just clears the ball away, but danger not cleared yet as Payoffs moves onto the ball now. Goes around one man, but he can't go around the seconds, and Langy has a chance, but Wallace can't control it. Back to Najjar. No, yes, Najjar, who tried to play some combination work, but he couldn't get in. City keeping this ball locked in their attacking half, Josh. Really, they haven't done it a lot tonight.
This is a great spell for City. Machente wins the free kick there.
Machente's no fear from the youngster.
And the City staff have asked you all to look away from your screens at home as they have another covert routine that they don't want leaking out into the public.
Maybe they're trying to get them all out the way because they're going to have a new system with the new head coach, so they might as well use them. But we will see what happens here as the ball will be floated in. Goes towards the far post, but McLaren again so strong with those hands. And now Langy have a chance to break quickly.
Again, a very traditional delivery and a disappointing one at that.
As Jans' attempt to move the ball forward was quickly cut out by Connor Metcalf. And Burgess has the ball in his hands, looking to throw it in. Burgess, who's, now that I see him up close, has colour coordinated his boots. Nice little touch. Graham with the feint to get it round his man and then work it through. Lucente running into space. Tries to play the ball in behind the defence for Najjar, but Najjar knew that was going to McLaren.
I wonder if Burgess has another set of boots for the away kit, Joey.
It's a very nice looking away kit. We saw it against Brunswick last week. The white away kit, very nice.
Classy. Kappa gear usually delivers.
As we now have less than 3 minutes remaining of regulation here at David Burrows Stadium. You've just sensed maybe, Josh, in these final moments of the game, momentum has shifted and it's now City maybe in the ascendancy and pushing hard for a winner. Oh, and that's a late challenge. The advantage has been played, but I imagine Jans will be booked for that once play is held up. Najjarine is on the ball, twisting and turning around this man. Gets the ball to Najjar, who tried to flick it on.
Cheeky back heel from Moody Najjar. Didn't have the direction on it.
And now he tries to cheeky flick onto Najjarine by Metcalf. Najjarine cutting inside. Back to Metcalf. Has the shot! Oh, it's just gone wide. And now the booking will happen for Jans. We said it would. The FIFA special. The foul well in advance of the actual booking. There was a very poor late challenge. And Kolakowski is still limping. But that was a golden opportunity. Metcalf scored a similar goal earlier in the season. That could have been the moment for City, Josh.
It was so well struck. Just beautiful technique off the left foot. So close to picking out the top corner where the Spiders live.
Now Metcalf rides that challenge. Metcalf does have one of the bigger bodies in this City tough side. Didn't have it when he first arrived, but then he went through a massive growth spurt. But that pass to Najjarine is poor, and it's cut out by Matafari, who's going to burst up this left flank. Play it back into the middle to Etheridge. No, to Wallace. They're big bodies with long sleeves. And
big English boys.
Numbers. Yeah. Wallace just plays the ball back into the middle of the park. Portelli now. Drawing 1-1 against his former side is Lucas Portelli. Now that ball comes in, and that's a big collision. The referee has waved play on. Probably hearing your mics, the Langwarrin fans did not like that. The challenge of bodies coming together.
I have to admit, from our far off vantage point, Joey, I thought that was a foul.
And Najjar has put that ball out for a throw-in, has he? That's excellently done from the striker, chasing after it to prevent it from going out with a goal kick and allow City to lock the ball in, as the fourth official is about to indicate how much longer both sides will have to search for a winner. 3 minutes, the classic 3 minutes of added time added on here at the Veneto Club as Metcalf Gets in there to cut out Burgess's header. Will we see a late winner, Josh?
I wouldn't bet against it. Both sides have threatened.
It's Portelli and Metcalf exchanging a few pleasantries before they start pushing. Actually genuinely mean that. Looked like there was a smile on the faces. There's Kolakowski now cutting inside. Plays the ball out to Najjarine. That's a late challenge, but Idris Abdullahi has the shot, but it's gone well wide of the posts for the youngster.
And then that's 3 opportunities on the edge of the box for Melbourne City to win this game. None of them managed to put it on target. Obviously Metcalf coming closest, but they really did have an opportunity to break this winless run and send Langwarrin home to the southeast with nothing.
Yes, now Jans has a chance to cut in onto his left boot into the middle of the park. He plays it across. Long shot, but Taleb makes the strong save. Portelli, as we were mentioning earlier in the broadcast, he loves a shot from range there, and he was forced, Taleb, to get down low and to his left, falling as he made the save. And now Kolakowski. You see he's got time because Langy are just going to invite him forward and try to soak up the pressure. He'll get it to Karlic on the left. Karlic puts the ball into the middle of the pitch, but there's nobody there at the back post. Abdullahi will keep it in, however. Ball into the middle of the field, and it was played in by Payos, but the header on goal. That was on target, but easy save for McLaren. Payos and Markovic get in there and prevent it from coming down, and once again City moving forward. It's been all City in these last 10 minutes. Payos tries to wedge the ball through for Najjarine, but it's cut out. Now Wallace.
Told you he loves a shot from range, Joey.
Is it just because he didn't want to run forward? Or? Nah, that's cheeky on my part. Very cheeky on my part. Taleb was off his line slightly.
Honestly, Wayne Wallace didn't catch hold of that, but he has it in his locker. He is one of the cleanest strikers of the ball in his whole division. Forward. Gets the ball to Lucente on this right flank. Strong defending, however, doesn't allow the wing back to settle, and it will be a goal kick to Langwarrin. So they've been under pressure in the late stages of the second half, Langwarrin, but very strong defence. Wasn't the worst halfway line effort I've seen this evening, Joey. Corey Sewell had one for the Melbourne Knights, which he managed to kick the ground at the same time as the ball, and it just trickled through to Ryan Scott. Insult to injury with Knights going down 4-0 Kingston Heath.
Perhaps maybe the boys still... As the referee blows full time, well, for City, not the result they'll have wanted after going ahead in the 27th minute through a Moody Najjar strike. Max Etheridge cancelling out the advantage in, I think it was the 54th minute, with a header off a scuffed and bouncing Lucas Portelli shot that found his head close to the edge of the 6-yard area. But for City, silver lining in the dark cloud, that is their first point since early April. A 1-1 draw, the final score here at the Veneto Club. Josh, was it a fair result? Could maybe one side feeling hard done by not to win? Could both sides maybe think they could have won this game?
I think both sides definitely could have won this game, but I think in the end a draw, pretty fair reflection of the game. City had great passages, obviously dominated that last 10-15 minutes, but Langwarrin had large swathes of pressure, didn't translate into clear efforts on goal from Langwarrin, but they did have City hemmed into their own half for quite long periods. So I think Langwarrin will be a little bit disappointed given the relative standings on the NPL 2 East table, that not take 3 points, but I'm not sure they did quite enough to deserve it.
City walking off the field alongside their Langwarrin teammates. As we said, Lucas Portelli and Jaden Mataferi, maybe a few chance to catch up with their former teammates now after the contest here at the Veneto Club Stadium has ended Melbourne City 1, Langwarrin 1. I've been Joey Lynch. I've been joined by Josh Parrish. Thank you for joining me, Josh.
And my absolute pleasure, Joey. Let's go find somewhere indoors and warm to spend the rest of the evening.
Absolutely, and hopefully wherever you have been watching on the NPL Victoria Facebook and YouTube pages, it's been nice and warm around you. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page, like the Facebook page, and join us on the rest of the season for more NPL Victoria action. But for now, goodbye.